Buckle up, folks, because today's discussion is pointed at some of you. Yes, you, with a funny hat and the beard. I'm talking to you. We're diving into the roller coaster ride of finishing a game demo. Because, let's be real, it's not all glam and glory. It's a journey riddled with challenges, late nights, and a sprinkle of desperation. But if I can gosh darn do it, you can too. Picture this. You've got an incredible game idea in your head, but there's a catch. It's stuck in the limbo of an incomplete demo. You're wrestling with deadlines, technicalities, and a nagging feeling that it may never see the light of day. Oh, and there's the certain dread that everyone is going to hate your game, and if they actually play it, they'll see you for a fraud. Been there? Yeah, me too. So grab your coffee, energy drinks, or whatever keeps you fueled, because we're about to explore the trials and triumphs of pushing through to complete a game demo. It's messy, it's chaotic, but hey, you know what? It was worth it. Let's dive in. One thing that played a monumental role in finishing my demo was setting a hard deadline for myself. I have so much trouble staying focused on something when I want to jump from one thing to the other, level 1 to level 5. Let's do combat, let's do dialogue, let's do this, let's do that. Squirrel! I couldn't have done it without having some sort of ticking clock that spurs me into action. And I also couldn't have done it without the accountability from friends and this exact series of videos that you are watching right now to keep me on track to make sure I finish, because I made a promise to you guys. Now, let's talk priorities. When you're juggling a job, family commitments, and pursuing a passion project like game development, time becomes a very precious commodity. My priority list went through a significant reshuffle. It was my family, then my job, and then it was game dev all the way. I had to push aside a lot of things to make sure I hit this deadline, and I found myself being extremely productive getting this demo done when I made that choice to make those priorities. Something else that kept me from going off the rails was setting absolute and achievable goals on a roadmap. But you know how it goes in game dev. There's always a surprise waiting around every corner, so I had to remain adaptable. If something threatened to disrupt the game's flow, I'd have to reassess and pivot, and only if it didn't go too far outside the scope of what I set for myself. Because if I kept going off the rails and kept trying to find new things to work on and new ways to make my demo better and better and better and add more stuff to it, I would never get it done. And I need feedback sooner rather than later. Now let's zoom in on some of the details. The nitty-gritty of level design. My forest level was coming along fine. I loved the music, I loved the atmosphere. I needed to add a little bit more to spice it up. So I worked on some enemy AI, making them a little bit smarter, a little bit faster, adding in some more combat mechanics for the players to mess with, extending levels. But specifically the mines level that you walk into in the second part of the forest biome was kind of like the forgotten child. I sort of ignored it and I just kind of let it keep being ignored, and I kept noticing how every time I got there, I was just kind of trying to get through it really fast, and it didn't really spark any interest. So I took the time to go through and create a bunch of decorations in the background, sort of spice up just when you're walking through these glowing crystals, little abandoned mining pieces here and there. And then I took it and was like, well, how about we add a little bit more danger? So I added a couple spike pits here and there to make the player keep on their toes, otherwise, their toes would get stabbed. And I made it so I sort of broke up the level. Instead of just going from one side to the other, you'd have to find doors that would make you jump from one room to the other. And then you'd come up to blockades and have to go find the items you needed to break through those to go on to the next part. It was about building a more exciting experience, one that would give the player more to do than just try to rush through the level. Sort of give them a little bit of puzzles, but nothing that would make them have to think too hard. And the Act 2 boss, sort of what I think of as the centerpiece of this demo. You come across this massive treant in the forest, this guardian of the woods that's been corrupted. And he just kind of walks at you and smashes the ground and teleports away. And you fight through some vines and he does the same thing over again. I made an earlier video about how to create a good boss design, and I thought the pieces were there, the layout was good, I had good transitions between each part, but now I needed to sort of flesh out the individual acts. Act 1, for instance, was just him walking towards you and slamming, right? I've added a little extra fun mechanic that the boss will do that every once in a while. He'll quickly kick you with his foot and launch you. And the reason this is dangerous is even though the kick doesn't do any damage, there are these spiky vine traps around. And if he kicks you into them, it'll hurt the player. So then they have to figure out, oh crap, how do I how do I get out of this spot between this giant tree and these vines? Because you can't jump over this guy. You can't jump high enough. I made it that way on purpose. But if you time your jump right when the tree ant slams the ground, it'll actually launch the player up over the tree ant and onto the other side, so you can fight him again. So after the tree ant teleports away, you have to fight your way through these spawned vine minions, collect the torches you need, burn your way through the vines, heal up a little bit, and then you fight the second phase, or I guess the third phase, if you count the vines as a second phase, of the boss, where it seems like it's the same. He comes at you, he slams, he kicks, he slams, he kicks, you dodge, you jump over. But then, when you get to a certain health level, he'll throw up an invulnerable leaf shield that you can't get through, and then he'll start to spawn these vine minions that attack you, and you'll have to defeat them, and then the leaf shield will fade, and you'll have to fight him for the last little bit. Hopefully you've got enough life saved up as he slams and tries to kick you into vines before you can move on to the end of the demo. So let's not forget about the most important part about creating a demo: submitting the damn thing. And it's not just a simple little click a big giant submit demo button and everything works for you. No, the first time you do it, you have to navigate through steamworks and build a new app, a new quote-unquote Steam page, and get a whole new app ID for your demo. You have to submit all the art again, you have to write a description, you have to submit the ratings, you have to go through and submit all these arts and capsules, all these things for it to put up for your demo. And then on top of all that, once you get that all figured out, you have to download the steamworks SDK and set up a repository for your demo to go up to that specific app ID by logging in through the steamworks SDK GUI app. And once you do all that, it seems pretty easy afterwards, but getting there is something you need to think about if you're trying to push your demo. Make time for it if you're in a crunch, because then they have to review not only the demo page, but the demo itself. And that can take up to, they say, 5 days, and we'll see, because right now mine's currently in review. Reflecting on this 3-week journey that I kind of sprinted through, it wasn't just about hitting deadlines and filling in checkboxes. It was sort of a exercise in discipline, adaptability, and the importance of knowing when to pivot and when to stop. Sometimes the most rewarding part is not just the completions, but hey, the lessons I've learned about this are going a long way, not only towards the rest of this game, but towards future games. So there you have it, the ins and outs, the highs and lows of completing my game demo. Remember, setting those hard deadlines, prioritizing effectively, and staying adaptable can be the secret sauce in making significant strides in any project. So thanks for joining me, and hey, if you're really interested in this, check out my Steam game and link below and give it a little wish list. Thanks. And hey, if you like these videos, give them a like, subscribe, because there's more coming. Thank you very much. Have a good one.